Breaking down Tyler Shough's Saints debut, hits, misses, and standouts. Ladies and gentlemen, New Orleans Football is the backdrop. Mike Triplett, Nick Underhill. Okay, a lot to talk about. Let's jump right into the video. You know what today we're doing. You know what yesterday was, tomorrow is. We're breaking down the preseason game, the goods and the bads, including Tyler Shough, including Spencer Rattler, including Stallbird, and hopefully not including Isaiah Foskey.
Dot Money is convenient because if you tell them we sent you, they will give you $400 or $500 back on your closing costs. Make sure you check them out.
$500.
They're living and dying with the stuff just like you, so you might as well buy your next house with them. What do you think of Tyler Shough?
So I've said it. I'll say it again. I thought he was good. I thought there was some good there. I think what you're most concerned about anytime a rookie quarterback is starting, or the first time he does play, is can he hold up to the NFL? Can he make the throws? Can he physically move around? Can he exist? I think Tyler Shough proved, hey, man, I can exist. All right. And yeah, the pick six was not good. No doubt about it. The sack he took was not good, but there was good mixed in there. Preseason situation, you can only, I don't think the Giants should be building a statue of Jackson Dart. I don't think the Browns should be building a statue of Shedeur Sanders. It's preseason. So for it being the first preseason game, I thought Shough was okay. I thought he was somewhere around a B-. I
think it was kind of a continuation of the Tyler Shough we've seen for the last 8 days now, which in the positive sense is he himself said once they started doing the live call-it scrimmage sessions, this game, obviously, it's been football. And when he looked more hesitant, when it looked like he was thinking too much, that was all kind of in the first 2 weeks of installation. And then when they were like, all right, now go get first downs. It's 1st and 10. The defense is coming after you. He's looked a little bit more like himself.
And that kind of does make sense, especially in that 2-minute drill where I've used this analogy before, where sometimes when you're playing golf, and you start focusing on your swing too much, or you start focusing on like every single little thing. Is my elbow straight? Is my elbow bent? Is my knee in the right area? Are my hips going back? Are my hands here? All of a sudden, your swing is a nightmare, right? Your swing is a total mess. Sometimes you got to go out there and just say, you know what? I'm gonna let it rip. I'm just gonna let it rip. I'm gonna play golf, and then sometimes that's the best round. Not surprised at all that Tyler Shough in practice is slower or a little bit more hesitant or a little bit more like robotic, trying to do what he's learning, and then he gets out here, the defense is coming after him. It's like, all right, I got to just play.
Now that doesn't mean he's looked perfect, not by any means, but we're seeing, okay, there's a quarterback in there. This is what he looks like when he's actually running the ball, when he's moving the chains, when he's taking shots downfield. And then the biggest worry is, again, some colossal mistakes. I mean, a pick six when you're trying to prove this team shouldn't be scared to put you in a game and that you're ready for all this. Those are the kind of mistakes you can't make. Obviously, they're going to like the way he responded to that. The very next series, it was a 54-yard touchdown pass. So, I mean, I think you like the tools that you're working with, and you see a guy who's not there yet.
Yeah. I mean, the interception was definitely, like, let's just start with the bad. Like the interception was definitely a very rough play.
Yeah, his bad, off the top of my head, was the interception, obviously. The sack, when he rolled out to his left and missed whoever it was coming on the crossing route, and then when he missed Kevin Austin on the first kind of go route, like the double move go route. Those are the ones that stand out to me where it's like, those weren't awesome.
It was a high-low concept. He threw low. He had the defender like in a bind. He was either going to have to go high or he's going to have to go low. The defender went low. Shough threw low. He got picked off. It's a touchdown. If he goes over it, it's a 25-yard gain to Trayton Welch. That's a tough decision to make, and it does play into some of the gaps that we have seen him make in practices where it's like, man, how did he not see this guy?
On that play, it looked like he wasn't even thinking about that guy. That play looked like he was just letting it go. It looked like it was a one read. Hey, hit your break. I'm slinging it. I mean, it was so fast. I don't think he even knew Trayton Welch was on the planet.
I do think, though, when you take it from the context of 4 plays at a time, 6 plays at a time, 1 drive at a time, and you're able to see a progression of 20, 25 plays, whatever it was, it becomes a little more digestible.
Yeah.
You see like some good stuff around it, and it's like, well, all right, he's a rookie. He made a mistake. I don't know why, but something about the way I feel about him changed today. And that was an absolutely awful mistake. But I feel a little bit more optimistic about Tyler Shough now than I did before. Will I feel that way next week? I don't know. When you're kind
Yeah, Nick makes a good point. If you, and we kind of saw this during the live stream in the chat, if you are watching the pick six, you are straight up writing him off. You're saying, all right, this guy's ass. All right, this guy's a bust. All right, we made a mistake, whatever. If you watch the touchdown drive, it's like, all right, there's something here. If you watch the 2-minute drive, it's like, all right, there's something here. If you watch the in totality, you see the goods and the bads, and you can, like he said, you can see there's a quarterback there. You can see there's tools in there. Was it great? No. It was his first time in a game. So you got to kind of, and then we have no clue what this conversation will be like after the second preseason game, after the third preseason game. So you do have to take the good with the bad, especially with a rookie quarterback.
in the desert of quarterback stuff, like you might mistake a carcass for a canteen, like mirages appear.
Wow.
You don't know.
Put that on a shirt. You may mistake a carcass for a canteen. Wow.
Might be seeing something that isn't really there. But I'm more inclined to find out going into the season, I think, now. Like, there's a piece of me going into this hours ago. I was like, there is no way they can do anything but play Spencer Rattler. Just watch the game, and I'm like, man, I don't know. Like,
I'll say this. I still think Rattler, if the game was this week, I think Rattler's your starter. But I would say I'm higher on Shough after the first preseason game than I was before. Because I now know, okay, he can at least exist out there. He can at least play the game out there.
Maybe you just find out.
I would add to that, though, I would add a total of 4 practices, not just one game. I would say the first scrimmage, to an extent, though he made like 3 or 4 really bad mistakes, but you saw the touchdown drive. And then his 2 practices in California were easily his 2 best practices. So now it's actually stringing 4 of those days together where you're starting to be like, okay. And I don't think it's quite canteen versus carcass. We've talked about this all the time. We saw Spencer Rattler go out and start 6 games last year before he was ready, quote unquote. But he was able to compete. And
it did kind of remind me of Rattler last year, but there are some throws in Rattler's, like Green Bay. The jump throw is insane. That is a crazy high level ability, like to be able to make that throw in absolutely insane, right? But then you see the pick he threw, I think it was targeting Foster Moreau in like triple coverage in the same game. And it's like, I mean, on one hand, the jump throw was sweet. There's some serious skill there. If Patrick Mahomes does that, it's on the cover of Madden. And then the pick, it's like, okay, he is a rookie. I mean, he is a rookie at Lambeau throwing to Kevin Austin.
And so I feel again about Tyler Shough that I feel like he could be like rookie Spencer Rattler, like rookie Will Levis, like rookie Davis Mills. Like, he's not going to go out there and forget how to play football. Like, he can go out there and he can survive these highs and lows on a football field. He's not the 2 weeks of thinking too much is not this is a reminder that this is what they look like when they're actually out there playing football.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that he can survive the lows or the Saints can survive the lows or that you survive the lows and you get a chance to chase it into the next season. I don't know that one preseason game and, a drive against, like putting Shough into that situation at the end of the first half in a preseason game, in a 2-minute drill, where in the regular season you're going to see really soft coverage, and then in the preseason you're going to see even softer coverage.
I think that was smart. I think you put him in there knowing he's probably going to be the most comfortable in this 2-minute environment, knowing he's going to play in the second half. And then like, all right, let's get him out here, basically warm him up, get him ready, get him into game flow, and then we'll go into the half. Like I thought that was very intentional.
It's probably the best wingman move that Kellen Moore could have made for him.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
You put him into a situation that just allowed him to get into a rhythm, feel what it felt like to have
100%.
success. And, man, that was a solid for him because whoever was going in there was probably almost assuredly going to get a good drive because they aren't every play. They're just so far off, and there's they're layups. And that was a very solid thing. But again, I feel much better about him today than I did at any other point. And there's still the drawbacks, though. But I do think today, as we exit this, it's no longer the conversation's no longer like absolutely, Rattler, if they're playing Arizona tomorrow. I don't know. Like, I
think if they're playing Arizona tomorrow, it is Rattler. But it definitely is up for grabs. It definitely is. They're going to have Tyler Shough can win this for sure. Spencer Rattler can win this. I think next week the conversation is going to shift quite a bit, especially if Shough starts and Rattler comes in the second half, because you would think Rattler's going to get some pretty easy competition to throw against.
I feel like you probably get a higher floor with Spencer. He's a 1 year of experience, so he's probably going to make fewer mistakes. Granted, he made his own mistake in this game with the sack fumble. Yeah. And the continuation of this conversation is presented by RV Masters. You've seen our van. Go to them. They'll get your vehicle decked out, power, whatever you need. We saw Spencer make the mistake and all that too. So, it isn't. I don't want to overstate anything here, but I do feel like Spencer gives you a higher floor. But I think that Shough does obviously have a higher ceiling, and that's why he was picked 40th. And like you said, the way he responded, he comes back. It's a 54-yarder. He looked more aggressive. I'm slightly more encouraged. I'm not as encouraged as I would.
I don't know if I buy into the higher ceiling fully. I understand, because when you watch that game, the Shough possessions looked completely different, and they were completely different. Shough was letting it rip. He was just throwing. It was just, all right, we're not going to run the ball. We're going to throw. The 2-minute drive, he got to take a couple deep shots. Spencer didn't really do a lot of that. So I can absolutely see where Spencer's possessions, you're looking at that going like, this is nothing. This is just absolutely nothing on the field. And you look at Shough's, like, okay, I can see we're taking the top off the defense. We're doing this. We're pushing the ball. We're moving with pace, whatever. But you got to factor in a lot of that game state. You got to factor in a lot of, what Kellen Moore is trying to do or not trying to do with Spencer versus Shough. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised at all if that flips when Spencer is playing against who the hell ever in the second half next week. So, and when the draft happened, one of my concerns was, did you just draft Spencer Rattler? Is Tyler Shough just a taller version of Spencer Rattler? And he kind of is. Like, this game, there were some throws by Rattler and some throws by Shough where it's very similar. Now, I know Rattler is 4 inches shorter, but they are very similar players. Very similar in age and experience in college careers and what they do on the field. Shough is more of your prototype quarterback because he is 6'5", because he's, runs a 4.6. But I almost feel, and this can change for sure, but I almost feel like we're choosing between the same thing. And you can almost just flip a coin, and whether it's Spencer Rattler or Tyler Shough, you're kind of getting the same thing.
Like Shough played a great game. Like when he was out there, Dart played a great game. Like I'd be more encouraged about those guys, but he looked good. He looked okay in moments. He looked bad too at times, though. I mean, the situation is what it is.
Look, I think Spencer's still ahead, but I think Spencer has stayed this way. Although Spencer probably had his best practice of the entire training camp just in the last scrimmage that they had 2 days ago. But Spencer has kind of stayed like this, and Shough was way behind him, and he's gotten a little closer. But I still think Spencer is ahead, but I agree with you that it feels like more of a competition that's seizable in just a matter of, what do you think? Do you think they have to make a decision after one more preseason game, one more week? Hopefully we get to see joint practices against the Rams. Kellen Moore said they'll make that decision after they do a health evaluation. But hopefully we're going to see another set of joint practices this week and another preseason game. But yeah, I cannot the fact that you cannot say it's over, it's done, the competition is done, that means Shough has made progress.
Yeah. I don't know that he's ahead, man. Like it feels like a coin flip to me. And
I think he's ahead because I think you also have to protect Shough. I think if Shough and this is after this game, like he might not, this could be completely different after week 2 or week 3 of preseason. But as of right now, you can see Shough still needs to develop. And there is no reason to throw him out there. There is no reason to say, all right, you're starting in 3 weeks. It still makes total sense to have Rattler start, slowly develop Shough, and then when he's ready, give him the keys. More than likely will be week 5. Week 5 seems to be the best landing spot for Tyler Shough. You get through first week, 4 weeks of the season, give him an extra month to just experience life in the NFL, more practices, whatever, going through the prep during a week, and then you come back home after that crazy trip from Seattle to Buffalo. You come back home, maybe that's where you turn it over to Shough, unless Rattler does really well in those first 4 games. But I don't think there's any reason. I didn't see anything that would make me think, okay, they definitely have to play Shough week 1. We still have 2 more games. A lot can change.
As I've felt since the very beginning of this thing, like if it ends even close and you feel like the outcomes and the variances are similar, now I think you got to see like Shough with a higher degree of difficulty in the next game. I hope he gets to start the next one because, look, Rattler was out there against the twos as well. They had a couple first team defensive linemen out there. The Saints had most of their first team offensive line out there. So that's a fair fight. So, yeah, I mean, I don't feel like he was put in a situation to fail or anything. Like he basically went against a second team defense with a lot of second team offensive people. But I want to see Shough go against like a higher degree of difficulty. Like that's mostly second and third teamers that he's throwing against. But I don't know if this was the only thing we saw and there's no other context around it. If you're starting the evaluation today, I don't know on what merit I could really stack one ahead of the other because it kind of felt like they both made mistakes.
It really did feel like the same player. And that's how I view these guys, where they do feel just so similar. And if Spencer were to play the entire game, I have a feeling the box score would look the same as if you combine Shough and Rattler. I don't know if Spencer throws a pick 6, but who's to say he wouldn't, right? But
and I don't know that like Spencer did. His easiest throw was a throw that his best throw was a throw that anybody in the NFL makes. Like I don't know. Like Shough at least had like a couple things. I thought Spencer made some good decisions to run. Like I thought he made a couple of really great decisions there. But man, it feels very, very close to me. If you're just looking at it, this is the starting point and you go off from here. Like if you're gonna go preseason game by preseason game, it feels pretty neck and neck.
Yeah. Today was neck and neck. I will say that.
All I care about is where it's at today. Because if we aren't going to judge.
I mean, I think you do have to factor in that Spencer Rattler played last year. You have to factor in more than just the first preseason game.
Like Tyler on you were bad on day 1, so you can't start in September. It's just where it's at right now. I feel like where it's at right now. If they go forward from here and it maintains, it feels very neck and neck today.
I agree with that. It does feel neck and neck.
I completely agree. And preseason games are going to trump everything else.
Yes.
So if it's the same thing next week,
doesn't it seem like so long ago that we were talking about training camp? And it was only what, a week and a half ago. But I told y'all, once preseason starts, all that training camp stuff goes out the window. Once preseason begins, who cares about 8 reps in 7-on-7? And that's why preseason's similar to that, to where when the regular season starts, no one's going to care about preseason. So, and that's the danger of getting so invested in the coverage and the analysis and the metrics and the stats from rookie minicamp, training camp, 7-on-7s, mandatory, all that stuff. Because as we progress, a lot of that stuff gets washed away and a lot of the new stuff becomes way more important.
Rattler has to be better than him. In a game.
Yeah, Rattler has to win next week for sure. If Shough wins preseason, if Shough starts and wins preseason game 2, there's a good chance then Shough is the leader in the clubhouse to be the starting quarterback, because then he's won both preseason games in 2 different situations, one starting, one coming in the second half. So Rattler does need the next game.
Probably to cement it. Probably. I think that's totally fair. Today, I don't think either one won it today.
No, I agree.
sabotaged themselves a little bit, which is what made it even. I was a little more disappointed with the decision on the pick six throw than Rattler getting stripped from behind, but they are both unforgivable mistakes.
Yeah, the pick six was way worse than the fumble.
You can't turn it over. I mean, if you want to be the quarterback of this team, you need to be like, I'm not going to lose games for this team.
Right.
Spencer,
be a game manager.
It definitely feels like safer. He still feels, as what I was saying, like the floor feels higher on Spencer. He feels like a safer decision.
Let me ask you this. You've said you think the ceiling is higher on Shough. Do you think Shough definitely has a higher ceiling, or he's just the only one with an unknown ceiling right now, and we kind of know Spencer's ceiling?
Yeah, see, Mike's kind of hinting at what I was talking about 10 minutes ago. I don't know if the ceiling is necessarily higher, but there is that level of, well, he does look taller, and okay, the ball's kind of coming out of his hand faster, or maybe there is a higher ceiling. Maybe he puts this all together, but I don't know. That seems like a bit of a mirage.
I think he definitely has a higher ceiling. And I mean, he went 3 rounds higher, it doesn't mean you reach your ceiling. It doesn't mean you achieve your ceiling. Isaiah Foskey didn't reach his ceiling. He certainly reached his floor. And I
does he even make the team?
I'm even further away from putting him on the team, and I left him off my 53. I don't care if I'm wrong on that one. He
was so bad in the first preseason game. He was so bad.
Just cannot do it. But that doesn't mean he achieves his ceiling. But absolutely, I think he has a higher ceiling. And I think even today, you just see it. You see, but Joe Milton probably has a high ceiling, But he's not going to.
Trey Lance probably has the highest ceiling of any quarterback that plays.
I think Trey Lance was terrible in that game. I thought he was horrible. I thought he looked worse than Rattler or Shough. If I was watching that game and you were telling me to rank those quarterbacks, I probably would have said Shough 1, Rattler 2, Lance 3, Haener 4, and then DJ whatever. But I thought Lance was terrible.
Today.
Man, Trey Lance, he only passed for 55 yards, but it felt like 255 yards. It just felt like he was just that running ability is crazy. I'm excited to kind of see what he ends up developing into with
nothing. I'll go ahead and give you a spoiler alert. He will transform into nothing.
Harbaugh.
If he can't throw during the preseason in his second game with Harbaugh as the head coach, he's never going to do that. In preseason, said this during the live stream, in preseason, running quarterbacks are infinitely better than usual because plays break down in the preseason. You've got backups all over the place. Teams are playing relatively safe anyways. So a scrambling quarterback will extend drives and look better. Like Dorian Thompson-Robinson, Tyler Huntley, Trey Lance, these guys are preseason heroes. And then in the regular season, all of a sudden, that goes away. You can't run the ball like that. You can't just tuck it and run every single play. You can't just drop back, look around, take off. There's blitzes. There's all kind of stuff happening in the regular season. And that's why Dorian Thompson-Robinson is not starting. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, if y'all go back and look, it was either last year or the year before, he had one of the best preseason stretches ever. And people were honestly talking about, is this guy a starter in the league? Tyler Huntley, I've heard for years people say trade for Tyler Huntley because of how good he looks in the preseason.
But yeah, I don't know. Don't you think so?
Look, we keep talking about who should start week 1. I'm still, maybe the team will not think the way I think. If I was in charge of the team, there's so many reasons that aren't just trying to win that are, I would start Spencer. The first month of the season is a brutal schedule.
Yeah.
If Spencer's more ready to take those lumps because he's seen it before. If he goes 2-2, congratulations. You went through that schedule and you won 2 of the games. You've earned the chance to be QB1. If he goes 1-3 or 0-4, look, maybe it's unfair, but then you can ease Tyler in.
Yeah, there is. If you are trying to protect your investment in Tyler Shough as a second-round pick, it makes more sense to not play him than play him. The stretch of Jonathan Gannon, Bobby Salah, Sean McDermott, and Mike McDonald as your the defensive minds you're facing in the first 4 games, that is rough. That is a pretty brutal stretch. So unless Shough runs away with this thing in game 2, game 3 of the preseason where you basically can't deny him, then I would absolutely start Rattler, 100%.
I don't like the idea of all right, Tyler's shown us some things. Now let's just throw him to the wolves. Because what if he starts 1-3 and 0-4? Where do you go from there?
Exactly.
But I do
exactly. That's the thing. If you start Shough, you cannot bench him. If you start Rattler, whether it's fair or not, you can turn to Shough.
I think in general, I'm more encouraged about Tyler Shough's ability to help this team this season and show some things this season than I was 8 days ago, without question.
I agree with that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So you feel like Shough has a higher ceiling or no?
I mean, probably. But that's based on college tape. It's not based on. If you didn't tell me where these guys got drafted and all I know about them is everything I've seen since they've joined the Saints, I haven't seen him show his higher ceiling.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
That 54-yard touchdown pass was incredible, but it's the first time I've seen him complete a pass more than 15 yards as a Saint. It's not like he's always throwing.
Yeah.
It's not like he's Jameis out here.
I do think, though, like if you just watch, if this is your first viewing and you said both these guys put together, all the things that they showed today and polish it up,
yes,
no doubt about it. Like it's a no-brainer. And that's not.
You watch those two quarterbacks today and you're like, which one excited you more about their potential? It's Shough.
Yeah, but how much of that is game state? How much of that is what they were asked to do?
Yeah, and again, like he feels like the one that could crash the car the hardest. So still, like it just feels like,
and that's why you don't start him, because you realize, like, okay, there's something there, but it's also on an absolute razor's edge. Like the good is there, but the pick sixes are there, the fumbles are there, the sacks are there, the like whatever is there, like the disaster plays are there, the Will Levis-esque plays are there, just like we saw at Louisville. Yeah, he can roll to his left, throw off balance, back foot over a defender, whatever, but he can also have some of the most like comically bad interceptions you've ever seen.
It still feels like it's there. But
it's a two-man race now, though. Speaking of crashing the car, I mean, Jake didn't get a fair shot, but kind of made it easier on the
Hayner was never
a two-man race now.
All right, continuing this, presented by.
All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know in the comments below what you thought. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.